see. What they have in Doctor Who launching tomorrow, right? Launching tomorrow is, let me think, all of modern Doctor Who, 2005 to 2022, all of classic Doctor Who, right? Sarah Jane Adventures is there already. They got a new 6-part series, which we're about to talk about, right? And then we got a bunch of other stuff coming. Plus, you got the specials, right? You know what you got on Disney Plus? None of that, just the specials. It's unbelievable. It's unfucking believable. Now, I understand there's outstanding contracts, right, with BritBox and with HBO Max. They should have insisted on buying out those contracts, right? They should have insisted on buying out those contracts to launch this. The way iPlayer is doing it is the right way, right? That is the only right way. That so that you get people interested in Doctor Who. They want to go and see what else is Doctor Who. And so they're breaking into seemingly 3 treasure troves, right? You're going to have classic, be 63. I guess it's going to be to 96. I guess. I mean, great if they could get the BBV stuff as well, like the Autumn trilogy, right? And what else do they do? I like the Autumn trilogy, by the way. Downtime, right? Shakedown and Downtime. Shakedown with new special effects. You know, they should get all that 90s shit in, right? What else? There was Downtime, Shakedown. Trilogy. That wasn't that good. The Cyberon, which I never saw, and then there was also the Zygon one, which was kind of porny, from what I understand. But anyway, so there's seemingly 2023 Doctor Who, David Tennant Doctor Who, David Tennant 2, 14th Doctor Who is in its own bubble, right? So I think just in the same way that 2005 Doctor Who didn't deny 89 to 63 to 89, right? Same thing here. That it's not going to deny it, like 2023 Honest Story isn't going to deny it, but it's in its own. It's a soft reboot in it, essentially, because Jodie killed it so much that they really she really killed it. I guess they're going to go with making a picture smaller, right? So that's the first thing. So again, and then one of the things not going to be on Disney Plus, for again, an unfathomable reason, it's so dumb, is this thing, Doctor Who Tales, Tardis Tales. Now, I don't really know what this is. Let's read an article about it. I mean, like, it seems like a recreation of a bunch of Doctor Who sets. Like throw together. Like, that's totally the ceiling from what's it called again? The Hartnell era. Here we go. Don't share screen. Mark the Vicar is here. How you doing, Mark the Vicar? Don't share screen. There we go. Kazam. Fine. So, new Doctor Who series will explore classic era stories. So, I don't really understand it. This is in continuity, right? Canon, right? And you've got the Doctors and companions visibly older. There's 6 episodes. I think they're 90 minutes long each. And they, I think they are anyway. It's all dropping tomorrow, right? On iPlayer. Not on Disney Plus. Fuck you, Mickey. Fuck you. Well, you couldn't get this? There's, I mean, like, they needed to jump into this franchise with 2 feet hard. You blew up Star Wars with your Kathleen Kennedy shit, and you blew up, what's the name? Marvel with your diversity shit, right? This was your chance. This was your chance to not fuck it up. And you fucked it up going in. Couldn't even get this. So, yeah, to me, it looks like there are maybe echoes of whoever the different people that they're meeting in the Tardis storage room. And again, there's all different bits of the TARDIS there. New Doctor Who spin-off series, and it looks a bit CBBC. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. Tales of TARDIS will reunite classic Doctors and companions to revisit adventures from the show's original run. Okay. Fine. New Doctor Who spin-off series, TARDIS Tales, has been revealed. As previous Doctors, Doctor and companion actors reprise their roles to reflect on key stories from the show's classic era. So I don't know if they're doing a bunch of stories or one story per show, right? The classic era ran from the show's debut in November 63 with An Unearthly Child and came to a close in 89 with the storyline Survival. Again, badly named, but I guess well named. The classic era saw that Black 8. It's got a classic era. Ahead of the upcoming 6th anniversary, a new series of specials will debut reflecting and celebrating on on pivotal stories on the show history. So is it one story each? We're going to look at these pictures in more detail. Hello, Perry. In more detail, right? So that's a bit of Matt Smith's TARDIS there. That speaker looks like it's from the Peter Cushing's movies. I can't remember that. You got Dodie's TARDIS wall. That bit of Mr. Smith. That's definitely the Jodie console room in Small there. Right, this must be the where the TARDIS stores all its potential things, and these are echoes of all the people they've travelled with them, right? Or maybe they're personality ghosts they can use for the interface. I am looking forward to this. It's great to see Jamie and Zoe again, right? And it's nice seeing Tegan and the Doctor as well. I just finished watching Enlightenment. That is a perfect story. It's wow. I can't wait to review it. It is a really perfect story. As revealed on the official Doctor Who website, Tales of TARDIS will see former companions and Doctors come together to reflect on their past adventures in 6 episodes composed of archive footage and newly filmed scenes. So it sounds like it's many things, right? They're covering many stories. Current returning cast members are Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Maureen O'Brien, very much back embracing Vicky again. I mean, who else is alive? Karen Full's still alive. Maureen O'Brien's alive. Peter Purvis is alive. Oh, also, what's his name's alive? William Russell. Basically, everybody, all the companions from the Hartnell era, basically none of the companions from the Tom Baker era. Liz Sladen dead. Louis Jameson alive, but Romana 1 dead. Yeah, there's a lot of death going around. Anyway, Peter Purvis, Fraser Hines, Wendy Padry, Katie Manning, Janet Fielding, Nicola Bryan. So very well. David Anthony will also reprise his role as spin-off character Clyde Langer. That's kind of a nice person to put together with what's the name? With Joe Jones. Yeah, sorry. Katie Manning. The Tales of about TARDIS is a perfect introduction to classic Doctor Who. Yes! If only they had perfect classic Doctor Who to hand on Disney+. Oh, sorry, they don't have this either. With over 597 individual surviving episodes from Doctor Who's classic era, it can be daunting for new viewers to experience the classic era of the show and visit stories and try to continue to lay the groundwork for the series' new episodes. As such, Tales of TARDIS is a perfect opportunity to give a taste of the era by selecting a handful of stories from each classic Doctor run. Yeah, I agree with you. Furthermore, the series' omnibus inspired format could prove more accessible to the modern audience unused to the multi-part serialized format throughout the classic years. So again, one understanding I'm getting is each episode is one story, right? The Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant one, they're only going to be talking about Vengeance on Varos, which interesting. I mean, God, you'll need to put new effects on it. You really would need the new effects on Ventress and Varos. And look, that's why I'm very intrigued to see what we're going to get, right? I really am. I'm very intrigued with this. Lauren says, what is Shakedown? Shakedown is a fan-made Doctor Who from like 90. I guess it's 1990, maybe 91. There's a 60-minute Sontaran thing with Carol Ann Ford, Sophie Aldred, Brian Croucher, and it's a story of the Ruton who is hiding on a sailing on a space sailing yacht, right? And they're boarded by the Sontarans looking for the Ruton, essentially. Best Sontaran design I've ever seen. So there you go. Fine. So yeah, no, I agree. Furthermore, the story is only about new serial run. For those familiar with the classic Doctor Who, the newly filmed scenes featured in are sure to be more than enough to bring all viewers in. Yeah, certainly. Much like the collection home releases, short film trailers, and the Power of the Doctor's Ace and Tegan reunion with their respective Doctors, these new scenes can offer a chance to revisit older characters and address a thread that weren't properly tied up. I'm really excited. Yeah, look, it's all written by Rusty. It's written by Pete Matigue and Rusty Davis, I think. Well, surprisingly, the Clyde Langer can offer a glimpse of the wider Whoniverse outside the Doctor Who adventures in the TARDIS. For those unfamiliar with it, I mean, yeah, again, I'm not entirely clear what this is. Right? Does it have the link for the episodes? You know, let me think. You look at the BBC website about this. But again, not on Disney Plus. I mean, you know, Jesus. Disney Plus, like it always finds a new way to kick you in the balls. This is so like I was going to say this is so like it's like Disney Plus. Yeah, no, it really is. Fine. So does it say who's writing this? I do love these pictures though. I mean, like again, it's. I'm pulled in two ways. She cried. You know what? Oh no, there is more details on this page. We'll look at it over here. You know, it's better. It's better that we try and work through this as a gestalt entity rather than a meager individual mind. So you know, to that end, I have somebody who could gestalt with us, right? Could gestalt with. I know what you're thinking. But the carpet got very sticky. Yeah, it might. All you got to do is gird yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Gird yourself. Hold yourself together because, you know, I know we're excited. I am too. It's not every day that you get royalty coming to your YouTube channel, even if it's only local royalty. It is, of course, Birmingham's King of the Geeks. What are you? Your hair was fresh from the shower. Oh, my God. Yeah. You look pretty sprightly, ready to go.
Yeah, I've it is a little bit like that. Yeah, hello, mate. How are you?
I'm awfully good. Fan Dabby Double Dozy.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm a little. I know that lots of stuff's been happening in Doctor Who. Lots of stuff's been happening all over the world too.
That's very true. That was basically my introduction today. Yeah, no, we were just talking about this. The Tales of the Tardis. Actually, the thing that's made me absolutely crazy is how much Disney Plus is not worth is not worth shit. Oh my God! So you know what you're getting on iPlayer, right? Yeah. Which for me, this might be worth buying a TV license, right? It's so good what you're getting on iPlayer.
The thought had crossed my mind. Yeah, I'm giving things a careful think through.
I mean, what is it? How much is it a year TV license?
Well, it's near enough £15 a month, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean.
But the problem is there is literally F4 on the BBC anymore that I don't find either boring, dull as dishwater, or grossly offensive.
Right, so, no, I do understand. So
really, I'm wanging
it. $4.99 just for the Doctor Who content. That's be a no-brainer.
No brainer. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd always support the Doctor Who brand within reason. I mean,
yeah. Although it's very good. So the package you get is basically all of and I got all of this anyway at my fingertips. All of Doctor Who, like all of classic, all of modern, and it looks like they're breaking into 3 brands because they're calling the 2005 to 2022 its own bubble now, right, on iPlayer.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's a soft reboot. It always did look like it's a soft reboot.
I've been saying this for a year and a half. It's classic Who, it's new Who, and this is all new Doctor Who coming up. It will be it's a second restart.
Yeah, exactly. Because they needed to, right? They needed to. It was destroyed, right?
It's convenient for guys like us because we can quarterize all the dross that came between 2018 and 2022, and just we can brush that off.
And I think there's going to be some kind of in-universe way of making that feasible in headcanon, right? So, but the point is this: so you got all of that, you got all of Sarah Jane adventures, you got the Doctor Who documentary, you got the other Doctor Who documentary that was just announced, right? And now you got this 6-part series. How long are the episodes? An hour and a half? I don't know.
All we've got so far is something they've said feature length. So I think that could be dependent on the story that they're framing with this.
Okay, so here's a question. Is this a retrospective of, say, the Sylvester McCoy era, or is this them going over one story in the Sylvester McCoy era?
We don't know yet, do we? I suppose we won't know until, I suppose, I don't know if they're all dropping on Thursday. Yeah. Or is it tomorrow?
No, tomorrow, November 1st. So, and look, okay, it does look a little bit cheap, a bit Sarah Jane Adventures to me, a bit CBBC, but it's still gorgeous, right? And so, from what I can tell, there's recreations of lots of bits of TARDISes, and you can have fun, recognize where everything's from, right? You like the bit over there that's the Hartnell's ceiling. I don't recognize anything else.
The expression that I would use, and I know it gets bandied around a lot, but I'm going to use it anyway, is cheap and cheerful. This is fine.
Exactly. Like this girding, that's clearly the Paul McGann TARDIS. So there's like in miniature bits of all these different TARDISes, and like a bit of Jodie in the background there.
Apart from that, it looks pretty good.
Right. I mean, it's weird. It's like when you take a Jodie out, it's not that bad. Little Jodie console at the bottom. Yeah. So there's is that Mr. Smith or is that the Matt Smith's console? I think it's Matt Smith's first console.
Yeah, looks like it to me.
Right. So so this is also exciting. Stephen and Vicky. Vicky is like really was it Maureen O'Brien? She is back to being Vicky whenever she can now. Like she had no interest until the 50th. Now you can't get her to shut up.
It's funny how things change, isn't it? And it's taken her a long time to get there, but I'm happy that she's arrived at a place where she accepts her role in Doctor Who and seems to relish it. And obviously, let's pay her a few quid, I would imagine, which helps. I would say. But
yeah, listen, I mean, they're all. I mean, for some reason, I'm always happiest about Fraser Hines getting paid. I don't know why, right? But I was like, good on you, Fraser. Hey, have you got the Evil of the Daleks book you wrote?
It's on the way. It's in the post.
It's really good. I got the book on tape, right? And I am. I just finished the first episode, essentially. It's fantastic.
Does Fraser read it himself?
Yeah, but it's like it's a full like soundscape production.
Okay.
He's good at doing all the voices, So and it's all told from Jamie's point of view, which is interesting. So which is because it's a very Jamie centric story. Like 3 episodes.
An excellent idea.
Yeah, it's really a good idea. So it's I'm really enjoying it. There's so much heart in it. Nick Briggs does the Dalek voices. He just showed up.
I've got the original paperback of The Evil of the Daleks that John Peel wrote in the early 90s, and I felt that and I know that John Peel's considered to be a great writer, and he seems like a lovely fella, all that kind of thing, but I think those were overwritten, those books. That and The Power of the Daleks book were both too dense.
It was the 90s, right? Everything was overwritten in the 90s. You had to like...
good point.
But it was. It's like you go back and read those new adventures; they're all overwritten, right? They are all overwritten. You get a misty, you get a little teary-eyed thinking of a sparse Terrence Dix, right? She cried.
So how are you feeling about the Doctor Who franchise today then, mate? We're on the threshold of the anniversary month.
I'm more pissed off that I'm having to go I got a VPN so I can get iPlayer, but I'm more pissed off that I just got to pirate all this stuff, and I'm going to, because there's no legal way of getting it, and that it's not all on Disney Plus. It's making me crazy. It's so all Disney Plus are showing the specials.
I've been warning people about this for a year. I don't want to say I told you so, but
you were right. I remember you telling me so. But you're right. It's shocking how stupid they are. Right? They fucked up Star Wars to the point they destroyed the hotel. Right? They fucked up Marvel. Nobody wants to see any Marvel thing they do, and they think of rebranding that Star Wars hotel as Marvel. Really? Nobody gives a shit about Marvel anymore, you dumb fucks. Really? So, this is a chance for them to do a makeover. They could have had the whole catalog ready to go, right? So people could there's real content that people could dive into and use your service for, right? Actually earn your fucking worth, right? No.
See, the reason why this has happened this is an anomaly with the BBC, the creation of this hub within the app, an anomaly brought into being by the fact that Russell T Davies, and I know there are plenty of people out there who don't like him as a person, don't like his politics and all the rest of it, and I understand that. I feel largely the same way myself. There's the disclaimer. The problem is that Russell T Davies is a visionary and he can make things happen. He's made this happen. One guy, admittedly with trusted people at his side, people like Scott Hancock and Julie Gardner, pushing the right buttons and talking to the right people. But that team of people, they have the ears of those who they basically know if they don't entrust Doctor Who to them, then this brand, they can kiss it goodbye. They lost it 2 years ago. Yeah. Doctor Who, I cannot emphasize this enough. Doctor Who was cancelled 2 years ago, thanks to Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker on their heads directly. They know, and the BBC didn't do that lightly, everybody. They did that because they had to.
Quickly, okay, I have to tell you, the weird thing is this. I'll let you get going in a second. I watched a clip on YouTube of Time. She's in season 2 of Time, right? And I thought, she'll be okay in that. I don't know why character's a moron in that as well. I watched a 3-minute clip and I didn't like a character and I was not interested in watching this show whatsoever. She made another show suck. Anyway, sorry, you're saying, carry on.
Well, but the crux of the matter is that unless they entrust this franchise to people who've got vision for it, some direction, then they knew it was lost as an entire revenue stream. And the only thing the BBC has, it looks like they've lost Top Gear now. It's still being made all over the world, but it's not being made in Britain. Strictly still seems in relatively good health, but that pretty much leaves just Doctor Who. They've got no comedy, no ongoing drama that certainly I'm aware of, and their flagship soap opera is little more than a joke now.
Yeah,
they've only got Doctor Who.
What's name is still does well. Line of Duty.
Line of Duty does well, but again, they don't make that. I think that's made by not Fremantle. It's made by an independent. Time, I think that's also made by. Time. I saw season 1 of that, which I assumed was going to be a standalone thing, and I thought it was breathtaking. It was 3 years ago, wasn't it?
It is. It's a different writer on the season 2. It's like
I noticed. Jimmy McGovern is still involved, isn't he? But he's sort of co-writing. He's kind of bringing through another writer. And as soon as I saw that he was kind of taking a backward step, I thought, well, this seems to me like an exercise in diversity, in taking a brand that had been a success 3 years ago and a writer who people really, really respect, and giving him an apprentice and finding a way of retooling something which had a credibility before and made a great impact and was award-winning, and repurposing that to fit the ideology and the long-term diversity and inclusion.
Look, the problem is, I watched the first one because of Christopher Graham or Stephen Graham and Sean Bean, right? That's what brought me in. Jodie Whittaker, Bella, what's the name from
Bella Ramsey?
oh gosh, she gets on my nose like something awful.
I hate some mediocre talents.
Yes. Yeah.
Compared to Sean Bean, I mean, that first series was riveting. It's probably the best thing I've seen on TV in the last 5 years anywhere in the world. And I mean, it was even better than Russell T Davies' It's a Sin. You know, it deservedly. I mean, people went apeshit about that because Time won all the awards and they wanted it. But Time was a far better show. And I like Russell T Davies' writing.
Yeah, I love It's a Sin too. But it was a mature.
It was literate. It was affecting. It was emotional. It was visceral. It was real drama, and to do a second season like this, and I've seen, like I keep saying, I've seen Jodie be good in other things before Doctor Who, but I think Doctor Who will act as a tipping point for her career. And now the BBC are obviously, you see, I didn't think she'd ever lead another show again, and it looks like Time's an ensemble show, season 2. I didn't think she'd lead another show again, and yet here she is on Time. But I think that for the BBC, retrieving Jodie Whittaker's career from the dumpster will reflect better on them in the long run if they do that.
Yeah,
and so they're giving her every opportunity that they can to have a further success and to escape the shadow of Doctor Who, which by all accounts, I can't say how I've heard this, but apparently Jodie Whittaker, by the time that Doctor Who ended, she was very disillusioned with it and not on the best of terms with even Chris Chibnall. So
I've heard that as well. That they are that she basically hates him now. Yeah. Although I have to say, which career ended quicker, Jodie Whittaker destroying Doctor Who or Phoebe Waller-Bridge destroying Indiana Jones?
I think I agree with you. I think that Phoebe is I think you'll find that she disappears to being a background figure, maybe a script doctor of some kind. I think that will be her last major movie role.
I mean, I know she had a bunch of stuff lined up, but she was. I mean, honestly, did you ever see that?
No. I might watch it over Christmas.
I don't know. Okay, there was a guy who's just started his a podcast. Well, he sent me the link to his channel. Who he's he was chatting with me, and I so he said, oh yeah, look, they got all of Doctor Who Flux for like $3 or something, right? So I said, oh, you should totally get it and review it. Where he was like, oh, I don't know. So he did that, right? Here, let me put the link to it out.
Okay, brave guy.
It's called Review It Yourself. So in the same way, I think you should watch you and Ian. Okay, I want to stream with you and Ian and whoever else you want. Deep dive review of Indiana Jones. And whatever it was.
Well, I know that Ian saw it at the cinema. In fact, he may have even seen it twice. I think he went to see it twice. I think one time he went with friends, with Keith and a couple of other guys, and he may have taken family members to see it as well. So I know that Ian's seen it. I probably will review it at some point, but
it's really worth it. It's really I mean, it's really shockingly bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's shockingly bad. Yeah, let's zoom in these pictures, which so we can see them more clearly. So it's written by Pete McTeague, Phil Ford, and Rusty Davis. It looks like it's going to be fun, right? So this is Stephen and Vicky. So this is anything here. Okay, so that's Eccleston's TARDIS, a bit of that. A jukebox. What was that from?
Well, can we say the jukebox is apparently in the 15th Doctor's TARDIS? I don't know.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
So that could be where that comes from.
Okay. Yeah, I get it's less convincing than the junk TARDIS they had in The Doctor's Wife. But again, it looks fun.
Yes, like I say, it looks like a set. But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, okay. You know what it reminds me of? The Doctor Who Years tape from the 90s. Remember the thing that Whittaker put together? No, I'm not just zooming in on tits, but quite frankly, they're fantastic. So yeah,
yes, Nicola Bryant may be edging up there towards claiming her bus pass. but
still, I still
very, very good-looking woman.
Still shaggable, and I mean that with all respect, right? Listen, if I could tell, somebody I think who is a senior citizen that I would like to come on her tits in a respectful way, it would be Nicola Bryant.
I think she'd be touched by that sentiment, mate. I honestly do.
I think it does look like Colin Baker saying, "I would like to come on your tits." There, Colin, I can't help but agree. Right, I can't help but agree. Matt Smith had the typewriter. Okay, is this a reference? This speaker to Peter Cushing?
I'm looking at it and trying to bluff my way and realize. It might be.
One? Right, it does all look. It all looks a bit Peter Cushing. That looks like what's the name, Mr. Smith.
That's
the console under there. Sorry.
It's like an anus.
It's a fish on the console doing an anus, right? And why not? Why not? This is the nicest one. It really, I mean, like this is really lovely. Like, I think this really says the truth of these two characters, how they interact with each other, right? So how did you feel when you first saw these pictures, mate? Astounded, frankly. I was like, really?
Did it remind you, tap into your childhood more than anything it did in The Power of the Doctor, for example?
Yeah. So no, this looks all fun. But again, I was somebody told me about this, but they told me it would be something different, and I'm not sure. Oh, here, let me see if I can find the thing I was originally sent. Is this it? I think this is it. Yeah. There you go. Let me share that screen. So this is the thing that somebody it was at the time it was like under wraps, but it was like before it was just before the announcement. I think there you go, doink. So is this fake or is this real? So this is just Earthshock, and there's one here for Vengeance on Varos.
Oh yes, they've got 90 minutes there. I mean, right. that could be a vague, I suppose, time, but more than a precise time. Actually, no, they do tend to be pretty precise on the iPlayer, don't they?
It's not that far off. And this is they don't get the time for Earthshock. Right. Doctor and Tegan meet again and remember their terrifying adventures against the Cybermen to save the Earth and the friend they lost along the way. So again, is it once or each? Now, if this is fake, this is very impressive because they're wearing the same costume as they're wearing in the picture.
Yeah, it's not a fake. That's new photography. We are yet to see.
Right. So they're wearing the same clothes. So maybe this is real. This looks like it's probably real. Doctor and Mary meet again and remember their conflict on the mining planet Varos, a world that is. So I guess this would need new special effects, right?
And that's clocking in at 1:30 as well.
Right.
1 hour 30. Yeah, so they probably truncated versions, I would say, but
right. I would agree with you. Do I have any more?
It's interesting that they're using the original Russell T Davies era TARDIS on the main artwork to promote that. I mean, I know this was all put together quickly, but I think they used the current TARDIS, wouldn't you? Or classic TARDIS.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it matters.
No, but designers, we look at that kind of stuff.
Right. Wait, isn't that the current TARDIS? That is the current TARDIS. It's just the wrong angle.
No, that's the Chris Eccleston. That's a publicity picture that they use. Yeah, that's the same publicity picture. That's the same publicity picture they were using back in 2005. You can tell because the current one, the Jodie Plus one, it's not got the white panel. The panel is black with the.
You're right. Yeah, that's correct. Anyway, so Time Meddler for the first Doctor. Again, these are great stories to pick. I'm really intrigued how they're going to be woven together. Right? I mean, if this is what it is, right? So Mind Robber, that's interesting. That's an interesting pick as well. Why would we go for Mind? I would go for, wow, so many stories over that. Invasion, maybe?
I would say that these were chosen for their brevity, shall we say. I
agree. Invasion is a bit too, they fill up their, they do fill up their 8 episodes very well. I do like Invasion. The more I think of it, that's one of my favorite Second Doctor stories. And I like Seeds of Death. But I'm not sure if I like Seeds of Death because that was probably one of the first Second Doctor stories I ever saw. Right, the first one that came out.
Yes, it was the same with me. The first, I don't think it was the first video cassette I had from the classic range, but it may have been the second. I think Terror of the Zygons was the first.
Colin Archer asked, my first question would be, if it's in universe, it is in universe and it is canon, right? They will they be de-aged? No, so the de-aged Doctors will find some way to account for why they have aged along with, they're going to find some way to account for it. Right, that's the same. We're going to look at that in a second. Rusty Davis has been posting on Instagram about it. 3 Doctors. Choker Art talking about Clyde, about the 3 Doctors. So I think sounds very exciting.
It does. It does indeed. I mean, the Doctor Who. There are more ways to get old Doctor Who onto your screen, into your life now than there have been probably ever.
This is designed to bring new people in.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah, people who are scrolling through iPlayer, people who just remember something from when they were a kid. Even it's that kind of thing. That's what it'll tap into.
Anyway, so again, and it's funny they didn't build this up more. So fine. So Rusty Davis wrote. Oh, let me just. Tomorrow on BBC iPlayer, Tales of the Tardis. Many years ago, Jamie and Zoe had their memory wiped by the Time Lords. Can love and friendship overcome the power of Gallifrey? Wendy Perry, Fraser Hines back on board the Tardis for the first time in 54 years. And over here, Rusty Davis confirms, Joe Wiley, this was the week of the concert, and we had to keep it all quiet. Am I watching? No, this is not the thing I thought it was. There's another. I have another thing where he says it's all in canon, right? It's all.
I've seen. Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of. I think we've had a lot of grounds to complain. Actually, I'm not going to suddenly say that this makes everything okay. I think we've had a lot of grounds to complain over the last 10, 11 months.
Oh God,
We've barely heard a murmur from the brand. It was less than breadcrumbs.
And anything we heard was bad.
yeah. So I think we were right to feel a bit shortchanged, and in some ways, as great as all this is, it does feel a bit like we could have done with some of this over the summer. Maybe it would have been nice to have a slow, gradual build, but I won't be churlish about it. We've got an anniversary. It is happening, as I say. That we're fortunate we've got one at all with a brand that was pretty much flatlined. We are, and. When it comes to, it's 2 years today since the Flux season started screening with the Halloween.
Right,
apocalypse.
I remember that was Halloween.
It's difficult to imagine that was 2 years ago, isn't it?
Boy. Man, Ken, it was nearly good. I don't know why he didn't just bring in a real writer. It's beyond me, right? I mean, John Nathan would have thrown those plot elements at him and said, "Right, do this, this, and this." Right, yeah. and a real writer normally would put it together, right? I mean, and then you have writers that do like City of Death and not City of Death, Arc of Infinity, right? And I just
Johnny Byrne,
yeah, well, they just I don't know what he even wants, and Eric Say was like, "It doesn't bloody matter." Right, yeah, that's basically how I felt it went down. By the way, I just finished watching Enlightenment. I'm nearly ready to do my review of it.
Which one did? Enlightenment? When was the last time I saw Enlightenment? About 2 years ago. I did an entire watch through of the Peter Davison era.
It is Enlightenment is perfect Doctor Who.
I agree.
It's like it just nails everything 100%. Right?
Have you watched the original or the one with the new effects?
I went between the two because the new effects are now aged so much they don't look. The original looks better.
I look at the new effects and I'm curious about them, but after a while, I always end up going back to the original.
Honestly, I like the cut of the movie length cut of the new version. I don't think it needs new effects, but man, it's much like most of season 20. It's really solid science fiction ideas, like really interesting, solid science fiction ideas. Just about all of them are worth examining. I love the whole they're on the yacht, the whole like the Eternals. Everything about it works. Like literally everything about it works 100%.
I mean, you could say that this was a sort of an initiative that Christopher Bidmead drew up when they took over season 18, when Ian J&T took over then. But season 18 was quite dry and really not heavy sci-fi, but probably a little too heavy. With season 19, I think that was probably the sweet spot. But there's still a lot in season 20 along those lines that really, really works, that holds together properly story-wise, and has these fantastic ideas that are challenging for a child.
In season 20, it's only was it Arc of Infinity that really it collapses, but then you got
that's the only sort of runaround that hasn't got anything under the surface.
Right, but everything else does. Like, what's the second story? Is it Mordred Undead?
Snake Dance.
Snake Dance. I mean, like, how much more on the surface? Snake Dance, Mordred Undead, Terminus. Far better than I remember. Right? If only I could like
Mordred Undead too.
Over it.
Mordred Undead has there's a lot in there as well, mostly in episodes 3 and 4, but there's a lot of texture to that as well, a lot of food for thought in that. It's not a stupid piece of fluff.
All of this is serious science fiction, right? All of this is serious science fiction, unlike what we're talking about tonight, which will be your what time are you on? Are you on at
we are 8? On at 8. Yeah, that's why with the witching hour or two. Excuse me, one moment, mate. Sorry about this.
No problem. It's a good segue. Fine. So we're not going to do a deep dive, right? But this does segue into what why is this not coming? Hang on, it's because I've got the wrong thing up. This does segue.
Sorry about that.
Well, I'll tell you what. How much time do you have before you have to leave?
I've got about 10 minutes.
Perfect. Right. So on my last stream, right, I went through all of Doctor Who and came up with my top 10 list in order, right, of the best horror Halloween Doctor Who. So the number 10 spot we have Inferno, right? Inferno. I just feel this is classic in era horror. Like this feels like a great 1960s, 1970s horror movie, like a little bit science fiction, but much more horror. Like the Primals, I love this. What's your feeling of this?
Spectacular, epic, riveting story.
Right.
It's close to a masterpiece. This is
right. It's it's the first time that like people really explored a multiverse. In British TV anyway. Anyway, that was number 10. Number 9, God Complex. Freaking love this. So many great horror tropes are in the God Complex, and it's all like this weird psychological horror where you're looking at yourself with terror, right?
I liked this at the time, but I haven't gone back and rewatched this. I think I watched it like 2 or 3 times the week it was on. I don't think I've watched it since the week or out of transmission.
It's really okay. This is like you if you have time tonight, great for Halloween, right? And less than an hour long.
Fabulous.
So that's number 9. Number 8, Mind of Evil. Again, great internal psychological horror, plus a very hot Chinese chick. Who was it? Barry Letz's. Who was it? Somebody's wife. I can't remember who.
I know there is a story there, yeah, but I can't remember what it. You've got some really interesting choices here. I would never have thought of this, and I've only ever seen this a couple of times because I'm not really a Pertwee guy.
story. This is freaking primo Doctor Who. But again, it's all about internal horror, all internal self-moving, which is what I think the key to great horror is.
That's the thing with Inferno, isn't it? It's chilling in a way that they was called the Troughton era, the monster era. But Inferno chills you in a way that none of that stuff.
Right. Well, that was Pertwee,'s great line about it's more frightening finding a Yeti sitting on the loo and Tooth and Beck. He very much wanted to bring it to reality, which they did, and it's very contemporary as well. His era was just sci-fi horror all the way through. Now of course, that what episode? It's 10, 9, 8. Number 7. Perfect horror tropes revisited in The Curse of Sutek.
Oh God, this story, yeah. My earliest Doctor Who memories of this story. One of my earliest memories of anything in life at all. I was 2 years old.
Yes. There's a lot to remember in this, right? There's a lot that's so dark in this. There's like the teeny tiny little things which are great, like when who was the guy who was in black at first who put his hands on the guy to kill him and smoke came out.
Yeah.
Gabriel Wolf doing the voice. This was just Robert Holmes and what's his name? Not Barry. What's the name of the producer?
Philip Hinchcliffe.
Hinchcliffe, really enjoying themselves doing fun pastiche, right? Of what a great horror movie, classic horror movie is. Which is also, I feel, what the next pick is. I think what was it, number 5? Number 5 is Waters of Mars, a really classic horror episode.
You're right, and this is very much, this lines up really nicely, particularly with Inferno, I think.
Yes. 6, 5. So this is number 5. Also, great monsters. At the end, the Doctor becomes a monster. But again, all the great sci-fi horror tropes done by Doctor Who, which I think they really knew what they're doing by the time they got this one.
It's the pinnacle in respect to the the Russell T Davies era. This is probably the pinnacle of it. Superb story.
Yeah, I do agree. Talking of pinnacles of eras, Ghostlight. Ghostlight is number 4. Fantastic haunted house story. Lots of real creeps. I mean, I love all the bits with the insects coming alive and the idea of evolution and change. Sylvester McCoy absolutely at his best at the Doctor.
This is his finest hour and a quarter, however long it lasts. It's without a doubt. I've sort of fallen in and out of love with Ghostlight so many times over the last 30 years, but I can see where you put it on this list. It's very strong stylistically. Yeah, no, this is again great spooky horror for Halloween. Remember this list for next year. Another great Halloween tale. Midnight, one of this, I think, the scariest David Tennant stories. Really worth listening to if you can do it in 5:1 sound, right? Where they have them two. Oh yeah.
It is. First, the performance is fantastic. You have the traditional, was it cruise line adrift, plot line, design adventure essentially, and then you got what's her name, Leslie sang around
Sharp,
possessed, and and you see how everybody else is possessed by their fear and xenophobia as well, how that takes, so you got all this different layers of different horror here. True, genuine horror, right? But if you want to get into modern sci-fi horror, the number 3 pick is Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, which goes for horror at the end when we have what's the name, the Satan at the end of it.
It's a good all-round story, isn't it? This, because there's lots of spectacle, there's lots of adrenaline, there's a psychological angle too, and it builds. It's really, really pacey. So whilst most of my favourites are a little further down on your list, that I wouldn't probably put this as high myself. I see why it's here, and I think it's a really important story.
You know what? It just channels Aliens, right? Where I feel Walter's more channels Alien, this channels Aliens, which is a very legitimate horror trope. Number 3. No, so number the number 1 and 2 are basically joined. So number 2, which is very, very close, is a Deadly Assassin. Great horror, right? Yeah, really great horror, psychological horror. We got the Desiccating Master, we got the Manchurian Candidate, we got the all the psychological horror in episode 3. You know, that horrific bit where he's on an operating table and then it's his reflection, all that is fantastic.
Some of it is absurd, isn't it? In the way that The Prisoner was precisely balanced between the absurd and the deeply sort of disturbing, and this story does that too. Did it get away with it? Oh, you have to speak to Mary Whitehouse. Had her opinions about it, didn't she?
I think it totally got away with it. I mean, listen, it produced this wonderful Andrew Skilleter piece of art. It's fantastic. So my number 1 pick has not 1, not 2, but 3 beautiful pieces of art to tell you what it is. It is, of course, the Demons. Like, how much more traditionally horror can you get, right? So this is who drew this? This was, I can't remember the name of the artist.
I saw this one as well. I think it could be Lee Johnson, this one.
Could be.
It's a fantastic piece.
And this one is also by, was it Oscar?
Oliver Arkenstall-Jones. Yeah, this is my favourite. It's beautiful. Just beautiful.
This one really brings out, and this one I love from an alternate universe where Edward Wood was the Doctor in a movie version with Christopher Lee as the Master. But again, that it so perfectly talks about every trope of horror that you can think of. Is the perfect Doctor Who to talk about on Halloween, and I think that's something that you may appreciate from your stream.
Fabulous segue, and thanks for the plug, mate. Yeah, this is coming up at 8:00 on the Type 40 Doctor Who channel. A nice live stream deep dive review of the Rabbi's #1 horror Doctor Who extravaganza there. Find out what we all think of it there on the panel. So there's a few of the regulars in, along with the first Doctor himself, the Big Finish first Doctor, Stephen Noonan, his first live stream with us.
I think billing him as a Big Finish first Doctor is underplaying him. He is such an expert in Doctor Who. It's unbelievable. Like, he is sat and thought about everything. And you can totally tell, right? I love listening to Stephen Noonan talk about Doctor Who. I genuinely do. If he had a YouTube channel or a podcast, I will be regularly listening to it, right?
Well,
sorry, carry on.
I'm happy to say that he's on Type 40 for as long as he's able to be there. I think work obviously permitting, he'll be joining us for reviews. Originally came on board to do some just for the anniversary year, but he's going to be remaining on the show for 2024. We've got some exciting plans, some fun stuff, some more scary stuff to get stuck into, but we've got lots of creative ideas and ways to tap into Stephen's vast knowledge of this subject, and also his natural raconteur quality that he's got. He's a very entertaining guy, and we make one another laugh quite a lot. So I'm really happy to have Stephen on the show whenever he's able to make it.
My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.